All right, everybody, welcome back. So we are now ready to start programming the ROV. You've got the build either done or really close to done. But before we can actually get into the actual programming, we need to first think really clearly about what we want the joystick to do, how it should affect the robot, and then like how we're going to make that happen. And then we can jump into the actual programming of it. All right, so this first screen here, we need to talk through what we want the actual joystick to do. In this case, we've got two joysticks, a left and a right joystick, and we've got a Y and an X direction for each. I'm going to program mine so that the left joystick drives it forward in the Y direction and backwards in the negative Y direction. So up and down's forward. So here, this is forward and reverse. So as I'm filling this out, you fill yours out as well. All right, now when we move the joystick to the left and right direction, it might be natural to think, hey, let's make it turn. But on an ROV, you typically want, like a lot of the time, you're just going to try and slide sideways, not rotate and face somewhere new. So you're just going to like move to the left a little bit or move to the right a little bit. So instead, this is going to be like strafe left and strafe right. And if you're not familiar with strafe, it's a common term in video games, but it's when you move, kind of slide sideways like this instead of turning like this and facing a new direction. So you just slide sideways. All right, so the right joystick in the Y direction, that's going to make us move up and down. So this moves up and down, or moves deeper and more shallow. So this is, we're literally moving through the water column here. We're going down or up with that right joystick in the Y direction. And the right joystick in the X direction, this is going to do that rotation. So it's going to just pivot the robot in one place, but it's going to change it what it's facing at. So this is going to be rotate clockwise or counterclockwise. All right, so those are the things you want it to do. Now we've got to think about, okay, how do we make that joystick motion actually fire the motors in such a way that they do what we want it to do, either forward, backwards, strafe left, right, rotate, or up and down. All right, to do that, we've got this slide here. Now, when we wire our robot like this, we've set all of our 4 propellers at a 45-degree angle in this kind of weird orientation. That's going to allow us to do strafing. So we'll see how that works in a second. But to go forward, we're going to orient all the motors actually just their starting position to where they're blowing water backwards. And notice how these motors up here, this one blows, the front left motor blows the water backwards and left. This one's backwards and right. And that left-right push from those motors will cancel each other out, and you'll get just forward motion from those. And this back one pushes inward and back. This one also pushes inward and back. Those two inward pushes are going to cancel each other, so you're going to just get a forward push from the back as well. Although it's going to look a little strange. To move to strafe, to move to the right without rotating, we want all the motors to be pushing water to the left so that it pushes us to the right. So in this case, this motor would have to be reversed so that the water is coming out this way. And then this one would be pushing, and then this one would be pushing in this direction still because it's to the left. So this would be a normal direction, this would be a reverse direction. That way they would be pushing against each other. It would be the same thing as forward, but just to the side. All right, so let's start going through this logic. So to go forward and backwards, that's the left joystick Y. If I move that up, I want it to move forward, which means I'm going to give it like a positive command from the joystick. And they should all move in their normal direction because they're all pushing water backwards to start with. So these are all going to be what we call positive here. So positive means that they are in the correct orientation. And if I were to go down and they were to get a negative number from the joystick, they would all reverse their directions and push the other way, making it go backwards. So the left joystick is actually going to control them very directly. No need to twist or mess with anything. Now, when we want to strafe, like I said before, if we want to strafe to the right, so now I go to the right with the joystick, that's going to send a positive value to the motors or to the Arduino from the joystick. And normally a positive value would make the whole thing go forward. To make it go to the right, we need to reverse this motor because we need all of the fans pushing water to the left so that we drift right. So this top right motor needs to be reversed. This one's already pushing to the left, so we're good. This one's already pushing to the left, so it's good. And this one's pushing to the right, so we need to reverse this motor as well. So we need to reverse this lower left motor, or the back left motor, and this right front motor to make strafing work. So I'm going to write that in here. So left front stays the same, so I'm going to call that one positive because we're not going to reverse it. And then the right front, I'm going to call that one negative. And all negative means is that if you multiply a number by negative, positives go negative and negatives go positive, so it's like reversing the joystick for that motor. So that's the front right, that's the right front. We said we also need to have this one pushing the opposite way, so it's pushing to the left, and that is the left back motor. So this one will also need to be reversed, and then this one will be a forward. It's in the correct orientation already for strafe left and strafe right. Now the left works the same. So if I were to like move my joystick to the left, I would give a negative command to the Arduino, a negative number. That would reverse all of the motors. And then, so we reverse this one, boom. It's actually going in the right direction now to make me strafe left because I want to push water to the right. This one would still have to be reversed, so it still need to be negative. This one would still have to be reversed, still be negative, and this one would have to be normal as well. So it works both directions. So if we want to strafe left to right, we want to leave the left front and right back motor alone and just switch the two that are in the wrong orientation. All right, if this is a little heady for you, hang in there. And you could be thinking here of the plus as like normal and the minuses as reversed motor. However you want to do it. Mathematically, the minus is going to make sense later. All right, so now we want to rotate. So if I go to take my right joystick and go to the right, I want it to rotate clockwise or to the right here. So if I want to make it rotate clockwise to the right, I actually want this fan blowing in this direction, which is the right direction, the normal direction. But this one, I want this one blowing water back this way because I want it to push down there. So my top right needs to be reversed. So let's find those. So left front, I'm going to say positive. My right front needs to be reversed. And then down here, to make this thing rotate that way, this one also needs to be reversed. I want the water to be shooting out that way so it pushes the robot in that direction, in that rotation. So that's the right back. It needs to be negative. And the left back, then it's already going, so it's already going to be twisting it in that direction. So that one stays positive. All right, so far so good. So another way of looking at these positive and negatives is that does the motor behave in the way that the joystick tells it to? Like, so if I go positive with the joystick, the motor fires forward. When it says negative, it means that when I go positive, it goes backwards, and when I go negative with the joystick, it goes forward. It just flips the motor over. And to make all this work, this should be the way it should work out. All right, so now what do these equations look like? We need an equation that combines all the joysticks together for each of these motors. Each motor will have a different equation. So if we come down here to our next slide, let's see, our left front is positive, positive, positive. So it's going to be just pretty straightforward. We're going to keep it simple. And we're just going to say, hey, the left front motor, so left front motor speed is going to be equal to, I'm going to capitalize that, S. The L, let's see, L joy Y. Let's make sure we have this right. L-joy Y, L-joy X, and R-joy X are the three things we're adding together. L-joy Y, and because they're all plus, they're all supposed in the right direction, L-joy X plus R-joy X. So literally we're going to read the values of the joystick in all these directions, and then for the left motor, we just add them all together. They just follow whatever that joystick says it needs to do. So now, no matter what we put in here, no matter what orientation of the joysticks, that should make that motor work properly to do whatever we want to do. All right, so the next one, I'm going to actually just copy and paste this down to here. And we're going to do the right front next. If I flick back to the table, I can see the right front is plus, minus, minus. So this is how easy this ends up being, is you do plus here, minus here, minus here. That's going to reverse the joystick direction for those two motor, or those two orientations of the joystick. And that should give us our right front motor speed. If I come back here, I can see the left back is plus, minus, plus. So here, Control V, I'm going to change this one to a back for left back motor speed. And it was a, I forgot now already, plus, minus, plus. Okay, it was a plus, minus, plus. Yep, okay. And I'm going to do this last one down here. Our last motor we have to worry about is the right back. So I'm going to do RB here, right back motor speed, and that one was plus, plus, minus in that order. So plus, plus, and then the last one is minus. So by adding the joysticks in these ways, we are going to create all these different types of motion. It's really interesting just to think about how it flips the motors and makes everything work. All right, so at this point, we have our 4 motor equations. We didn't do one for our vertical motor. That one's going to actually be really easy to program. Whenever you go up in the right joystick Y, it's just going to fire that motor in one direction, and down will fire in the other, and you just got to balance it so it's pushing up or down when you want it to. That one's not complicated. The other motions on the sideways motions, strafing and turning and forward and backwards, those are more complicated, so they require these bigger equations. All right, so at this point, you are ready to dive in. If something about this doesn't make sense, talk to me, ask me a question, and I can help you, hopefully help you understand how all this works. The next slide is going to have 3 videos on it. Those are the actual programming ones, and you're ready to rock and roll.